we are very weak. Everything what's happening around us can arise, thoughts, actions in our mind in different ways. Just a random event happening around can change our mood, can change our direction. We are dependent of the external actions. If anything happening, we react. If there is any kind of action, we react. Our reactions is just like an immediate answer to what is happening around us. In general, it's not very wise, not very clever, not very good idea to react to anything what's happening around. It's not more like a cat or a dog have reactions. If we hear something, we turn our head. If there is some flashlight or something, we turn our eyes on that direction. And this is all reactions. We are here to develop our mind. Our mind, which is much more able to do not only the first reaction. The first reaction is like an animal's react, but we are human beings and fortunately, we have more abilities in our mind. We can compare mind, if we want to describe the mind, and this is water. Our mind is like waves on the water. And the water itself is an environment. And it's called consciousness. Waves on the water consist from water, of course. And our mind activities, just like waves on the water, are movements in consciousness. If there is no wind, there is no waves. If there is no thoughts in our mind, there is poor consciousness. If the water is clear and the surface of the water is flat, we can see through the water deeply. And so, if our consciousness is free, calmed down, and there is no disturbances, then we can understand better ourselves, our consciousness, and we can use the pure awareness, the ultimate awareness, attentiveness, and mindfulness And this is what we are practicing here. And the good technique is, of course, our meditational practice. Our mind has doors from which the environment can enter in our mind. This is our ability to see, to hear, to touch, to taste, to smell. These are our mind doors. And also the mind itself, our memories, our skills, our habits, our thoughts. This is the sixth door of our mind, the mind itself. While sleeping and dreaming, there is the onlyest door, our dreams, which is active. But also, our mind has various abilities or attributes, like thinking, remembering. We have memory. We have even different kind of memory. Memories, we have long-term memory, we have short-term memory, and so on. We have wisdom, at least we believe we have some kind of wisdom. We can think, but which is the most important? We have ability to be aware, to be attentive, ability to be mindful, to pay attention. And why this is the most important thing? We are nothing more but awareness. Our body actually is impermanent. Even during every 6 months, all the atoms in our body will be replaced. This is scientific discovery, and there is nothing to doubt about that. Every single atom in our body will be replaced in approximately, of course, in 6 months. After 6 months, we have absolutely new body. But of course, the structure of our body will remain the same. That's true. But anyway, if we compare ourselves when we were child, our body was different anyway. And when we get older, our body will change also. And so it is with very many things, including our mind. We can think that our beliefs, our ideas, our views are constant, but we know very well that they are not constant. We're changing our ideas permanently. There is nothing for sure. We can discover different ideas. We can discover about ourselves different abilities. And also, all our abilities are not permanent. Even our skills, our habits are not permanent. If we're not using our body abilities, what we once learned or trained, we will lose the abilities. Once you maybe had a good skill to play piano, but if you don't training every day, you lose this ability, and so on. Everything what is connected with us, it's hard to find anything what is our self. Even our name is not permanent. Somebody call us with another name, with nickname. We can change our name, or somebody will give us another name. Our titles can change, and so on. What is remain is the ability to watch, to see, to be aware about this, what was listed right now, about our body, about our mind, about our abilities. This is awareness. And this is why we have to train, have to develop our awareness, because this is so important. And this is what we can say, this is what we are. We are aware, we are our awareness. Unfortunately, we are not aware permanently. While sleeping, we lose our awareness, of course. We are aware only in awakening state of mind, awakening state of consciousness, not while sleeping in the night time. Or even in daytime, if we get a small nap, if we lay down and fall asleep, we can lose our awareness because of some ingredients what we are taking in. We lose our awareness even if we are eating too much or drinking something, But it's extremely important to be aware and to train awareness, because without awareness we are nothing more than a monkey or a dog or a cat, only reacting to the different actions, what is happening around us. So, conditionally, we can say that we are nothing more but what we are aware. Our mind is a living entity, but we are not our mind. And so our body is a living being, and also we are not our body. We can use our mind, we can use our body, but we are not our mind or a body. But how to use our mind and body? This is something we have to learn. When we were born, we couldn't use, nor our body, nor our mind. We start learning to walk on 2 feet. We start to learn to speak. We are forced to start learn to think, to use our mind and also our body. And through our life, we are still using the both, mind and body. And we're still training the both. Because we want to use them and we want to stay healthy, both. We need to have healthy body, we need to have healthy mind. Our body training is very popular in our culture. Different kind of gyms, different kind of tools to watch your weight, to move your body, to keep your body flexible and able to do necessary tasks. But unfortunately, our mind is not very much in concern. Perhaps only our wisdom. Wisdom is one of our mind's abilities. Wisdom is one of our mind properties or attributes, like memory, like awareness. The wisdom is ability to think in the most clever way, and it includes different kind of knowledge, of course, and to know how to use different knowledge, and also different kind of abilities to understand different languages, how to read different scriptures, and so on. This is the wisdom. And the wisdom is actually developed in very hard way in schools, in the educational process. And this is, of course, this is very useful, very valuable. If we cannot read, if we cannot learn, if we cannot understand what different people will tell to us, we are just stupid. But one thing what is not developed quite well is mind itself. Not so much the wisdom. The wisdom is, okay, cannot say that the wisdom is overestimated, but anyway, not enough attention is paid to our mind development in general. And that includes the awareness also. Here we reach to the quite an interesting question, what our mind wants, what our mind needs. And so we can ask what our body wants and what our body likes. Both are living entities. They both are living beings. We are using them, and they are not us, they are not ourselves. But anyway, if we have enough attentiveness, if we once considering about that, what our mind needs, what our body needs, we can discover that it's quite interesting. Our body wants to be lazy. Our body wants to rest, lay down and sleep and dream, do nothing. And we have to force our body to move, because if we don't force our body to make movements, if we don't train our body, we lose ability to use our body properly. But on contrary, our mind wants to be excited all the time. Our mind is restless, in the restless state permanently. Our mind seeking and wants new excitement, different kind of irritations, different kind of new things to see, to hear, to enjoy. Our mind is actually just, as told, like a small monkey, always restless, always looking around what can see, what new, what interesting would be happen around. And it's very easy to understand the best situation for both our mind and body is to sit and look TV. There is enough excitement coming, and the body can rest in the chair or in the sofa. This is, of course, the minimum, and this is, of course, not very wise to do this every evening. But if coming back to the mind development, what is needed, and coming back to our situation here, we can now much more and more clearly understand why in this retreat here are excluded the most of the attractive things, attractive actions for our mind. We don't even talk to each other. We don't even need any kind of entertainment, any kind of things which could disturb or be exciting for our mind. The most important time is actually the meditation time, when nothing happens and we are only concerning on something not important and without any meaning at all. Our breath, our breathing in and our breathing out. Nothing more. We are doing it, we are breathing anyway. This is our permanent body activity. There is no meaning, there is no importance, there is no significance. But this is a good idea to make this very usual, very common event, the air moving in our nostrils and out from our nostrils, and we pay attention to that movement like it's the most important event in the universe, something which has no meaning, no significance at all. And this is the way, the tool by which the mind can calm down and the movements in our mind will disappear and we can feel the pure consciousness, which is called even a truth. Because without the different mind disturbances, only without the different kind of mind activities, we can see and feel and understand much more clearly and much more deeper in the essence of everything. If comparing the mind with the water, if using this metaphor, we know the waves are caused by the winds. And the winds have no meaning, of course. The wind, different kind of winds, just happening, coming and going. And in the surface of the water, they create different patterns on the surface of the water, and we call these patterns waves. And so is our mind. Everything what's happening around has no meaning. The meaning is created by our mind, by ourselves. And so, if something happening around us, and we know that this is what was happening, what the action was around us, again, anything, a dog barking or a bird singing or something, some flashlight or something is seeing, it has no meaning, but it can create an involvement with it in our mind, and it can create a mind activity. Our thoughts are turning to this, our attention is turning to this direction, just like the waves on the water. Different patterns in our mind because of random events around us. Like random winds create waves, so the random events around us create different feelings, different thoughts, different ideas, and even different actions. If we see something, somebody is telling us something is not happy about us, we feel like we have to do something, we have to improve ourselves, something is wrong, or the other person is wrong. He or she didn't understand us. We have to make clear what we really are, and we are right, of course. This is, again, an example of a random event, what can happening around us, but the meaning of this event or meaning of any event is product our mind. And it's, of course, it's connected with our mind patterns. In our minds there are permanent, more permanent and less permanent patterns, like the waves on the sea, on the water. Some waves just coming and going, but some waves are like standing waves. Well, we cannot see actually the standing waves on the sea or on the ocean, but we've seen sometimes the standing waves anyway in the smaller container, if there is a different vibration or something like that. Yes, the waves can stand, and so can some ideas can stand in our mind for a very long time. We call them our beliefs, our attitudes, our strong ideas, the views about the world, about the other people, about the other ideas, political ideas, also conservative or liberal ideas, and so on. And we are very happy if we meet other people who share the same ideas, who think the same way like we used to think. If they believe the same things what we believe, if the other person is acting in certain circumstances like we should act, then we are very happy because we call this person a friend. This is my friend. He is thinking like I am thinking. So easy it is to make friendship, just to let to another person to discover that we are thinking like he or she is thinking. Actually, there is no reason to lie to anybody. If you want to make a new friend, it's just listen what he or she is speaking about himself or herself. And if he or she is speaking long enough, then this person starts thinking that we are thinking the same. We are thinking the same way. We believe the same things. We don't do anything. We just listen. Of course, this is quite a cheap way to make friends and to influence people. But it works, yes. Just listen. Don't do anything. It's interesting how our mind, how our thinking is working. And this is why we need a total awareness to understand ourselves, which is quite an strange thing. What is our self? Where we are? It's very old and ancient, maybe from the Zen Buddhism, I'm not sure, but imagine somebody is asking who I am. And after a long time there will appear an answer. And the answer is also a question. Who is asking? I hope you understand. We cannot ask who we are, because we are asking this about ourselves asking who I am. It cannot ask. And in the same way, we cannot ask what is our consciousness, because we are living in our consciousness. Our mind activities are already the movement in consciousness. But what is the consciousness? And again, the comparing with water can be useful and make it more understandable. If you're asking fish, and you're asking from fish, what is the water? The fish doesn't know. The fish cannot give an answer. The fish doesn't know what is the water, because the fish is living in the water. The fish is using the water. This is the environment for the fish. And it's very close in such way to say that we are living in our consciousness. And this is why we cannot say what is the consciousness. Like the fish doesn't know what is the water, we doesn't know what is the consciousness, because thinking about this is already in the consciousness. We can describe it like the consciousness is like some kind of field, like a water surface is like a field. We can describe, we can imagine, we can think about the consciousness like an invisible field which our mind is using, creating thoughts, ideas, and therefore different kind of actions too. And if the consciousness is like a field, it may be even something what we share together. And there are much more various signs that it's fruitful way to think the consciousness as a field. The consciousness can be in different states, and we already experience in our everyday life the different states of consciousness. Our normal awakening daily consciousness is what we are using right now, what we experience right now, in this morning, in daytime. But also we have the nighttime, the sleeping state of consciousness, which is totally different. In the sleeping state of consciousness, we can be in the very deep sleeping state where there is no movement in our mind and no dreams. But also, during the sleep, we can have dreams, different dreams. It means mind can be active even while sleeping. In the sleeping state of consciousness, the mind can be either active or not active. This is two states during the sleeping time. And in scientific literature, it's called REM sleep or non-REM sleep, as you probably know, or if you don't know, I will explain. If a person is dreaming while sleeping time, then his eyes balls are moving behind the eyelids. And this is rapid eyes movement, or REM, colloquially REM, REM, rapid eyes movement. It means the state of consciousness while sleeping, while the person is dreaming, have dreams. But if there is no movement of eyeballs behind the closed eyelids, this is a deep sleep, and it's called non-REM. In scientific research, it's described there are totally different kind of brain wave patterns during the REM sleep or non-REM sleep. The non-REM means deep sleep without mind activities. And the other kind is dreaming, which is the REM state of sleep and state of consciousness, which involves the mind activities. But anyway, in this different kind of sleep states, we are not aware. Awareness is excluded. In the daily state of consciousness, like at the moment, right now, we are aware and our mind is active. Like we are dreaming together with our awareness. And so, from this arises an interesting question. Okay, we have the three states of consciousness normally. Two in the sleeping time and one in the awakening time, right is at the moment. But maybe there is even the state number 4, what we can use, what we can reach. When we are awakening, aware, but without mind movements, like in a deep sleep, when the mind is in rest and not moving and not active. And yes, this is possible, and this is what we are practicing here during our meditational practice. And this is a meditational state of consciousness, which is also researched by scientific methods, and which is again have specific patterns in our brain waves. This is a meditational state of consciousness. And in the different cultures, in different traditions, in different religious, spiritual practices, it's developed already thousands of years. And so we are here to reach, to use, to experience this, the fourth state of consciousness, which is practiced and used already thousands of years, and which is very logically understood by this comparing with water and thinking about the consciousness as like a water and the mind activities like waves on the water surface. And through this understanding, we can also understand why this is so valuable, why this is so useful, and why thousands of years in the different cultures, in the different traditions, in the different spiritual practices, people are training to reach this state of consciousness also. This is called in Sanskrit Samadhi. And also this is not only one word, this is different variations of this state also. In general name is Samadhi, but it's known with different terms also. And also in the different scriptures, in the different literature, in the different traditions, there are also different techniques how to reach in such level of samadhi or to another level or to another level. This is whole science. Of course, this is not our modern science. This is ancient science for mind development. And the aim and the reason why to develop mind is to be and to live better, to understand better, to act better, to see and to intend better way. Because only if we remove our unnecessary feelings or wrong ideas or our imaginations, if we calm down and we are not acting like a monkey reacting to random events around us, if we remove the monkey mind and we reach to the deeper level of consciousness, then we can act in the right way, then we can think on the much more righteous way, and we will be more consistent in more ways together with ourselves, together with our everyday actions.